Hello, and welcome to Japanese craft beer reviews. Today's beers, we're going to look at several beers from one brewery. It's not a Japanese company, but it's one that many Japanese are familiar with because it's imported into Japan and somewhat widely available. And it's made in a location which many Japanese visit, and that is Kona Brewing Company. And Kona is a Hawaiian brewing company, as you might guess, and it was founded in 1994 by a father and son who were interested in beer. And they have quite a few beers that they've made since that time. RateBeer lists 89 separate beers, and Untapped almost double 157 different beers, and the average score on Untapped is 3.52. So in 1994 they started, and they have two brew pubs, one in Kailua, Kona, and the other in Oahu, in the Hawaii Kai area. If you are familiar with Honolulu, Hawaii Kai is quite upscale, sort of, I guess you could say a suburb of Honolulu. And so they have two brew pubs, and their main brewery is at Kailua, Kona, on the Big Island of Hawaii. And they also have a restaurant at the airport, Honolulu Airport, where you can get their beers as well. And their beers are widely imported into Japan, and you can get them at a lot of restaurants that kind of specialize in Hawaiian style or casual dining. And they were bought out by the Craft Beer Alliance, which was basically put together by the Widmer brothers in Portland, Oregon, and that group has sold out completely now to AB InBev, the large multinational brewing company based in Brazil and St. Louis. So what that means is they have access to the distribution that company can provide worldwide, and also production. So their beers are produced at Widmer Brothers in Portland, Oregon, as well as Red Hook in Washington State and New Hampshire in the United States. And this beer, it doesn't really specify. It says brewed by Kona in Kona, Hawaii, Portland, Oregon, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So it doesn't really specify exactly where this one came from. In any case, so we have a number of beers from them that we're going to look at. In 2009, they were the 14th largest beer in terms of sales, craft beer sales in the United States. So quite big. And we're going to look at 5 different beers from Kona Brewing Company. Okay, so let's begin. All right, our first beer is this one. And in general, when I do a series of beers from a single brewery, I tend to do an order of alcoholic strength for no other reason than simply it's nice to go from low to high. This is called Big Wave Golden Ale. And again, this is from Kona Brewing in Kona, Hawaii, Kailua, Kona in Hawaii, and it's owned by AB InBev, the large conglomerate. This is a 4.4% beer. It's a blonde or golden ale, and it has 21 international bittering units. And on RateBeer, this one has 2,022 separate ratings. The average score is 3.18, and it has a 32 percentile for all beers on RateBeer.com, 49 percentile for its style. So right in the middle, kind of blonde golden ale. Untapped, 378,000, almost 379,000 ratings, and the average is 3.52, so a bit higher than the 3.1 from RateBeer. I've had this before, but it's been several years, and I did rate it once. I gave it 3.5. And let's see how it is now. Once again, this is 4.4% blonde golden ale from Kona. Okay. Well, it is completely blonde, kind of bright, sort of bright blonde, fairly clear. A lot of bubbles sticking to the sides of the glass, and a few rising from the bottom. Nice solid finger of sort of fluffy white foam. Aroma, oh my. Okay, this doesn't smell like a blonde golden ale. It smells like what I'm getting is Zatz hops. Perhaps this is skunked. This was packaged November 10th of 2020, so it's about 4 months old. Now I'm wondering if it was shipped to Japan on a boat and not in the best condition. So this is not a nose I would typically associate with a blonde or golden ale. More like a Czech Pils, but that is probably a bad sign. Okay, flavor's very mild pale malts, some gentle hopping. Fairly thin, little bit of grain, but generally the overall impression of some pale malts, kind of sweet. Somewhat balances in mid-palate, but then that balance goes to flatness. It kind of disappears. So this is drinkable. I would not give this 3.5 now, for sure, which I did 8 years ago. And yeah, of course this is, again, this beer may be off a bit, I'm not sure, but it's not as good as 3.5. Thin, lightly malty, something like Zatz or maybe skunkiness, but in any case, give it a try if you like. This is widely available in many countries, I'm sure. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing Company in Kailua, Kona, Hawaii, USA. Okay, well, we're going to look at a few more beers from Kona Brewing, and I hope you stick around for that. And please do subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment. All right, I'd like to hear what you have to say. If you've had Kona beers, or if you've been to Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for a little while. A very wonderful place. But I kind of felt that it's a better place to visit rather than live, unless you are kind of well heeled. Yeah, it's probably, it's one of the most expensive places, certainly Honolulu in the United States, but it is a very pleasant place. The air feels good on your skin. The temperature, you know, so temperate, and really a pleasant place to be. Okay, well, let's move on, and we'll look at another beer from this brewery in our next video. Bye-bye.